with Shedeur, would you be surprised if he were your week 1 starter?
Yes. Yeah.
Would you be nervous if he were your week 1 starter?
Well, you know what? Boy, you said nervous. Because of the investment they made in him, a 5th-round pick, I wouldn't be nervous at all.
I'd be terrified for him.
Well, hold on. If his career, yeah, but I'm not invested in Shedeur the way maybe that you are.
Oh, I am.
Well, so wait, you're anticipating
it's my favorite football team.
Are you saying that is the quarterback of the future for the Browns, Shedeur?
No.
Because I've assumed that he's probably not. The fact that he was taken where he was taken.
What I'm nervous about is that you were
So what's to be nervous about?
Because it's still a guy that fell in the draft, and you're putting him as QB1 to start the year against defenses that are actually playing for keeps now. OTAs are fun. None of this. I mean, the teaching and what you can get matters, but all the conversation around it, us talking about, it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. This actually counts.
See, my thing is,
trying to win football games, it counts.
If he was starting week 1, I'd be excited. I've been like, holy cow, they were going to be very conservative. They were going to trot out either Joe Flacco or Kenny Pickett. The fact that Shedeur has risen in the ranks all the way to starting week 1 for a team that most think are going to be really bad, that tells me that he has really impressed everybody in that building. And that to me would be like, hey, maybe he's actually got a chance here.
If he starts week 1, I'm even more nervous for a couple of different reasons. One, I want him to be successful, and you start a season with a guy who's a 5th-round pick, whatever. I'm going to be nervous for him. I don't know if he's going to be able to protect himself within the confines of what an NFL game is, too. I got to look at everybody in that front office and go, wait a minute. He's your week 1 starter now against the Cincinnati Bengals on September 7th. Do any of you know what you're looking at when it comes to a quarterback? Do any of you do? Because if he ended up being good, I'd say, great, we're good.
No, you wouldn't care.
But they got lucky.
Yeah.
They got lucky.
The teams get lucky.
You took a guy in the 3rd round.
San Francisco got lucky.
You took a guy in the 3rd round. You puffed your chest out. Yes.
And they went to the Super Bowl.
Totally true. You got lucky with Brock Purdy. And that's fine. But I would have major concerns about our front office still, where it's like, man, you guys got lucky with Shedeur Sanders, and that's great. What are you going to do to put around him? Because I still have major questions about everything else, including how you evaluate the most important position, because you took a guy in the 3rd round ahead of him, and I don't even know if you had a thought to take Shedeur Sanders. And if Shedeur ends up being your your week 1 starter, then what are you looking at with the quarterback other than you just got lucky?
To that, though, I already have all those concerns about the front office and their drafting and their evaluating the talent. I mean, obviously, I have those concerns because I said in the offseason, if it were me, I would make the change. I would go in a new direction with the front office. They did not. Andrew Berry is still there. They value stability. Okay, yes, I have all those concerns you just said. Made no sense to me. Certain acts, certain parts of their draft did not make much sense to me at all. Doesn't mean I don't think there might be good players there. Doesn't mean that I don't think they might get lucky. Hey, teams do get lucky. I mean, I can't say that the Baltimore Ravens didn't get a little lucky with where they drafted, their future 2-time MVP. I mean, clearly they did.
I get that. And then I would look at it and say, if he were even better than what people expect, then I think, why didn't you go out and get somebody you might be able to? Why didn't you take him in the 3rd round?
Yeah, I agree.
Why didn't you take anybody that could help him out? Now I got this other QB that probably isn't going to get a shot. I got Zach saying he's not even of NFL caliber, which is probably a strong commentary, but that's what he said. That's not what I said. Why couldn't we get anything more? Like I in a weird way, I'd feel so great that we got lucky and we finally got this guy. And then I go, all right, what are you guys going to do in the 1st round now to help this kid out? And are you guys going to go ahead and pick wrong square pegs and round holes and wrong players to help out Shedeur Sanders? Because unless he is the next Tom Brady, he's going to need some help getting off the ground. And my God, if they go out there and they continue to do this, you're going to have a real big problem on your hands here, Tone. I think a lot of people would be surprised. I think a lot of people would be angry. I think a lot of people would be excited. I'd just be scared. I'd be afraid for them. I'd be afraid for him. I'd be nervous. I'd be shocked, and then my first reaction would be nerves.
Yeah,
I might say Super Bowl, Super Browns with you to get myself excited about it, but I think I'd be trembling.
I'd be nervous in a good way because I already assume this year is not going to be a good year. So I'm not worried about losing games. Are you? Who cares?
I am.
Really?
Yes.
This year?
Yes.
They're supposed to lose at least 12 games.
And I want to negate that as much as I possibly can. Why wouldn't I be worried about losing games?
I got to go back to what we talked about yesterday about what your goals were for this season. I'm assuming bad season. I'm assuming Vegas is accurate. I don't think we have the 32nd best roster in the NFL, but maybe we just have different
No.
expectations for the season.
I don't think we have different expectations. I expect them to lose double-digit games. If that's 10 or 13 or whatever, I expect them to lose double digits. But I'm not going to be fine with it. I don't know. I don't want to have to fire people and look for other people and have to do all this over again and feel like I wasted 2 quarterbacks when I'm going to use 2 more picks. I'm going to use 4 picks on quarterbacks over the next 2 years. Do we not know this? Like, depending on how this thing works,
I think because
at worst, we'd use 3.
I think that's
or at best, we'd use 3.
That's why I feel like I do, because I already can't believe we're in this situation. And because we've got the quarterbacks that we took inexplicably in the 3rd round and the 5th round. Ultimately,
we agree with each other, but I get what you're saying.
But I'm not going to be sitting there with the butterflies that I have for like Ohio State, Michigan. Like, no, we're supposed to lose a bunch of games.
I will have butterflies.
The rest of the league assumes we're going to lose a bunch of games. And the rest of the league assumes we're going to be taking a quarterback, maybe number 1 overall next year, maybe 2 or 3.
I will have butterflies without a doubt because I want him to do well. I want Dillon Gabriel to do well. You know what? If they just started Kenny Pickett week 1 or something like that, or certainly Joe Flacco, I don't know if I'm feeling confident. I'm just feeling.
Well, Sam Monson thinks you're wasting the year.
I'm feeling better. Because Sam looks at it from 30,000 feet. I'm sorry. You have to spend some time with the people actually in the building at some point. No offense to Sam. I respect Sam. Eraser phrase. But if we're just going to sit here and talk about that, I can give you example after example of teams that, felt that they were wasting the year winning some football games. And again, we oddly find them at the top of the draft every single year. The teams that think you're wasting time winning football games are always at the top of the draft because they're still losing football games.
I guess it's just we philosophically, me and you, one of the things we've debated over the years, I've always said, hey, when you have lower expectations, it's easier for you to watch. Like when Baker came in that first year, I had no expectations. And so when he played well right away, I was like, holy cow, this is exciting. When they have no expectations, which is what they have this year, you take the nail biting out of it. Like I'm not going to be sitting there week 1 worried about whether they lose. I'll be like, wait, the expectation is lose. Low expectations, I think, sometimes could be fun because anything will come off looking pretty good.
I just don't see it that way. I think there's so much there. I don't want to waste another year.
I think you're setting yourself up for failure because if you are coming in saying they're not going to win a bunch of games, but I'm nervous for Shedeur when he goes out there, I'm like, yeah, probably a 5th round pick starting for one of the worst teams in football. That normally is a formula for bad season.
So I'm setting myself up for failure?
Yeah, if you are coming in nervous already about what you think the reality is probably going to be, like, it's probably not going to be a good viewing experience for Ken Carman week 1 if Shedeur Sanders is the starter.
Well, what if he ends up being good?
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's going to be amazing. That's why I'm saying I'm in a good place with that.
I want to trust
that will be so much fun.
I want to trust the people evaluating him, and
I don't think you have that trust. Do you? Doesn't sound like
God,
you do.
No.
So that's already gone.
Like it, no.
For them to win that back, that would be fun.
It would be, but it would be even more despairing if I lost even whatever trust I have. I were to lose even more and then throw up my arms on this. I don't want to have to use at best 3 picks on a quarterback for this year and next year. I don't want to have to do that. And in all reality, you're probably not going to be as bad as what some think you're going to be. So if you win 6 or 7 games, you're going to have to use 4 picks on quarterbacks.
You're taking the over then on the season.
On the season,
we're probably not as bad.
If I'm taking 6 or 7 wins, but 6 or 7 wins still isn't going to be good. There's going to be plenty of people saying same old Browns. You're going to lose to some of these teams that are still going to look at you in a different way. And it's another year older for all your good players.
No, I disagree. If they won 7 games with Shedeur, you'll be really excited.
If they won 7 games and they don't have to draft a quarterback next year, that's a huge win.
Yeah, that means you've taken a big step forward at the most important position in football.
You're using those 2 first-round picks on things that help Shedeur or Dillon Gabriel. Or Kenny Pickett.
Oh, yeah? Oh, if you're winning 7 games with Dillon Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders, I think there's a conversation to hold on to Shedeur or Dillon Gabriel. Mm-hmm. If you're winning 6 or 7 games, let's call perception what it is. You win 6 or 7 games with Kenny Pickett, I think we're talking Lenore Sellers, Garrett Nussmeier, and the list goes on. Drew Aller. We're having that conversation, man. There is no doubt about it in my mind. But yeah, I'd be nervous for Shedeur and everybody involved if he were the week 1 starter. I would want those fears to be calm.